we were,
Wait, start over again. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't have it on. Now start again. Tell us where we are.
we're on the campus of Granite High School. And this is where I met my sweetheart when I was a junior. And, no, by jingle, I was probably my senior year, and she was a junior. But anyway, this particular spot, I've kidded my kids about, we were such great lovers that they erected a flagpole here on the campus, and I'll bet you I'm within probably 15, 20 feet on being able to put my finger right on it, but this is where I met her. It was so strange. We were out here eating lunch with my friend, and she came with one of her friends who was a friend of one of my friends, and that's the reason she came over to talk to this other guy that was with me or with us, and we so her name was Vivian Ammon, and she was a real close friend with Maydene, and that it was so strange because I was, when I was in high school, I don't know, you'd say whether I was a troublemaker or I didn't mean to be troublemaker. I just enjoyed life all the time, and life was a bowl of cherries as far as I was concerned. But anyway, when this gal came over, and I had never seen her, to my knowledge anyway, that I'd ever noticed her, but there was something so strange, such a funny feeling, and you might laugh at this, but I was never afraid of the girls. I was always wanted to be friendly with them, and but I was actually scared. I say scared. That I don't know how to explain it otherwise now, but it's there was such a funny feeling inside. I didn't know whether to get up and run, or whether to get up and make a fool of myself, or what to do. But anyway, it turned out that I just sit there and, who's this? And anyway, I've sure had a great life ever since then. She's been the light of my life. I can remember it was just probably a week before Halloween, because the Halloween dance was coming up, and I thought, well, hey, I'll ask that little gal, and so I asked her for a date if she'd go to the dance with me, and she said, well, I'm sorry, I've already got a date. And I said, well, okay, but maybe I can have a date. We can go to a show or something later on in life, and I didn't know whether it was all over, but boy, there was something about her that it made an imprint on my life. And anyway, I found out about 2 days later that she had broken her date with this other guy who was my friend at the time. I mean, I'd known him all through school, and she had busted her date with him. She used the excuse that there wasn't anybody that had been around kissing her and what have you, because this guy, he says, the reason she used it, the excuse she used for breaking the date with him, was that he was flashing this license that he had to kiss the girl, and says, well, I'm going to get to kiss you Friday night. When I take you out, I've got a license to do it. And she says, like heck you are, I'm not even going to go with you. So she busted that date, and the word got back to me that she was dateless, and so I asked her for a date, and I think that from that Friday on, there wasn't a Friday that went by but what we did something. We either went to a school dance, or we went to a show, or we went something or the other. Anyway, there was always plenty to do. And by the way, I didn't get to kiss her either for another 2.5 years practically.
2 years.
Well, I bet you it was a year and a half anyway before I got to kiss her.
It wasn't because you didn't try, right?
I got a daughter-in-law that knows me. No, but I never. No, I learned to respect her for what she was and how she was. That's what made my love probably for her was that, well, she's not going to be picked over like a lot of these gals are when we got around to getting married. I tell you, and she's always been that kind of a lady that she wasn't that she had plenty of love left in her. She'd let me hold her hand, and every once in a while we'd cheat. I'd say, let's just rub noses then. And so but that really, we called them Eskimo kisses. I don't know whether they still do or not.
Did you do butterfly kisses too?
What is a butterfly?
With your eyelashes?
No. No. Man, I wish I'd thought of that, Polly. You're about 70 years too late briefing me on all these good things. But anyway, bless her heart, she's been the light of my life, and I just really, really appreciate what a great woman I was lucky to have, because throughout my life, I sometimes think of this when I hold her hand at night, which now that's about all that we get to do. But anyway, when I hold her hand, it's just like it's more than warm. At least to me, it feels kind of like there's electricity running between her and me. I still, when I think of the days when we were apart, like when we first got married and we were down in South Carolina, I can remember that I always felt like I couldn't get home fast enough, so I would literally start running when I'd be a couple blocks away from the house. I would find myself wanting to run to get home to her that much faster. Now, I don't know. All I know, it was more than puppy love, I'll tell you that. It's something that, well, I just wish that I could, that all my kids, and I'm including the grandkids yet to come and the ones that are here, I just wish that they could have as happy a life and as full a life as what I've had the opportunity. I just, if there was something that I could do to tell them to do, I would sure pass the secret on to them. Anyway.
And what was her name? I don't think you told us the love of your life's name.
Oh my gracious. Her name was Maydene Brown, and Bodell now, of course. But her parents, she was born in Mesa, and they've been here in Utah for a long time. He was an MD doctor. He used to deliver babies down there. He delivered over 1,000 babies for the Hispanic people down there in St. John's, Arizona. But he was always actually, I was kind of figured that I was kind of on the other side of the tracks, and as far as where we lived, and I knew that she was the doctor's daughter, and I didn't know whether I could be dignified enough that I could take out a doctor's daughter. But she wised me up really in a hurry. When we started going out, well, somehow the conversation was who she wanted to marry and who I wanted to marry, you know, just bouncing back and forth. But she put me on guard at that time. She says, the man that I marry has got to love Jesus Christ as much as what my daddy does. Well, he was, I knew that he had a couple of the general authorities that he was a doctor to, and, you know, he was kind of dignified, and I didn't know how to be real dignified, I guess. I just knew how to be who I was, good old South Salt Laker, and so that I can remember that I always had a lot of respect for my father-in-law. He was always so good to us, and he set a pattern for me to be like he was to my children, because my sweetheart had made such an impression on my life that I wanted my kids to be the same kind of a person that all his family and all his kids were. Of course, they had their ins and outs just like everybody else, and he got one famous brother that bless his heart, he just he loved people. He was a brilliant man, but he just was always caring for the poor. I remember that we lived in Hawaii for quite some time, and he did too. But all the Polynesians, they just loved him because he was so good to them, and he just did anything in the world that he could to make them happy. Now, then there's some of the other brothers that's a lawyer, and you know, I guess I kind of married up rather than down, because it's sure given me something to shoot for ever since we got started as far as our courtship. And I've always respected the things that they stood for, and so consequently, that's the reason I've tried to make it be an example so that my kids would be the same way, because they've found happiness and we have found happiness, and I want all my children to find the same happiness that we did.